take a look at the review sheet very quickly. Are the two figures similar? So what you're looking for there, first thing to check, are the angles congruent? So we can see here, 2 and 2, the bottom two angles there are 2 and 2, and then the top, you got 1 mark on the top two, so the angles are congruent. So step 1 is true. And the next thing to look for are the sides. And the sides don't have to be congruent, remember, they have to be proportional. Or in other words, the same scale factor has to be used to multiply from one to the other. Way we can check that very quickly is you just make fractions out of the corresponding sides. So, right, 6 goes with 8, and then 10 goes with 15. And you can either turn these into decimals, or you can simplify the fractions. I'll simplify very quickly. So this would be 3/4. 10 over 15 simplifies to 2 over 3. These two things are not equal, which means these two things are not similar. For number 2, are they similar? Again, angles are congruent. So step 1, that's good. Step 2, check the sides are proportional. So 50 matches up with 150. And then 200 will match up with 600. And let's see if those two things are equal. 50 over 150, if you plug it into the calculator, you're going to realize that's 0.333. And if you plug this into the calculator, you realize it's 0.333. Those are the exact same thing. So sides are proportional. That's a check. Angles are congruent, sides are proportional, so these two things are similar. Number 3, are they similar? Here we go again. 90, 40. The missing angle here, remember, would be 50 degrees. There's 90. There's 40. The missing angle here would be 50 degrees, so the angles are congruent. That's good. And then let's check the sides. So 6 matches up with 9. 8 matches up with 12. And 10 matches up with 15. I'll just simplify all these fractions. 6 over 9 simplifies to 2/3. 8 over 12, divide both sides by 4. It's 2 over 3. Oh, got ahead of myself. 2 over 3. And then 10 out of 15, again, simplifies to 2 out of 3. These are all equal. So sides are proportional, which means the two figures are, in fact, similar. Here we're told they are similar, so go and find x, which just means, hey, let's set up our proportion and cross multiply and solve. So 2 matches up with the 4, and that'd be equal to 3 over x. Cross multiply and solve. So 2x equals 12, which means x equals 6. Here we're told again these two things are similar, so find x. So 3 over x would match up with 17 over 68. So cross multiply very quickly. So 3 times 68 equals, so 17x equals 204. Divide both sides by 17, and x equals 12. Number 6, here we go again. So 6 over 9 equals 7 over x. You could have done x over 7, right? These two match up. And just follow the same pattern. You could have done 9 over 6. Either way, you end up with 6x equals 9 times 7, which is 63, which means x equals 10.5. Decimals are okay. One more here. If I do x over 2, x and 2 go together, and then 1 and 0.25. 0.25. What we should see here, so 0.25 times x equals 2, divide both sides by 0.25. X will be equal to 8. Here we go. Are the two triangles similar? Remember, there are 3 triangle similarities. So you could have angle, angle, side, angle, side, 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 side. Remember, anything dealing with sides, you got to check for proportional. So here we've got these two triangles. One particular angle is marked. We can see it there. We're actually allowed to mark another angle. So all of a sudden we've got an angle. We've got an angle. So in terms of similarity, right, this wouldn't work for congruent, but here we're just looking at similarity. These two are similar by AA. Number 9, are they similar? Well, it looks like we got a side, an angle, and a side. Side, an angle, and a side. But remember, the sides have to be proportional. So let's check very quickly. Short side there is 2. The short side over here is 22. The longer side is 3. The longer side is 33. Are those two things equal? And sure enough, 1 out of 11, 1 out of 11, those are equal. Sides are proportional. So these are similar by side angle, side. We look at this one. Are they similar? So this would be SSS. And so if we look very closely, the 5, we multiplied both the 5's by 2, we multiplied 12 by 6, so these sides are proportional because we're multiplying by the same thing, right? All three sides are proportional, so they're similar by side, side, side. Number 11, are these two similar? Well, we have a side, we got two sides in both. There is no SS. We don't know anything about this angle, and we don't know anything about the other side, so these two things are not similar. We don't have enough information. The 5 congruence theorem, so this is shifting gears. Remember that would be SSS, SAS, ASA, AAS, and then finally HL. And the two things you're never allowed to use, SSA and AAA. And remember congruence, this is the exact same size versus similar. There's just one version was bigger than the other or smaller. So are they similar or are they congruent? If so, state the theorem used. Label. We got an angle, an angle, an angle, an angle. Well, there's no AA for congruence. So these two things, although they are similar, are not congruent, right? We're looking at congruent, and we want to keep in mind AA is not one of our 5 congruence theorems. Here, quick label, that's a side, that's a side, that's a side. Each triangle has SSS, and since that matches up, these two triangles are congruent by SSS. And then this one, we're allowed to mark the vertical angles, don't forget. And so we come in, we label. So this triangle is ASA. Label the angles inside. This one's ASA, and since those match up, these are congruent by ASA. One quick reminder on HL, the easiest way to do HL, right? If you have SSA with a right angle. So go ahead, always label with the A's and the S's, and if all of a sudden you've written something inappropriate and there's a right angle, that's SSA.